Pokemon Legends Arceus had a bunch of regional forms and new evolutions to Pokemon, so it only makes sense that Legends ZA would follow suit. So let's talk about what some of those forms could look like. Hey everyone, Brandon here. The most talked about regional forms people are discussing are ones for the starter Pokemon in Legends ZA, and if we're even going to get them at all, which we discussed here on the channel a couple videos ago. Check that out if you missed it. But my predictions are certainly not the only ones that exist, so I wanted to spotlight some that I've seen in the community. First up, we have Colossal Meganium, a grass rock type by Amalriart and Lazy Arcade. I really enjoy the concept behind this form, being simultaneously based on the dragons that would guard castles and the princesses trapped within them. The princess this Meganium is based on, with its neck shape and longer antenna, is most certainly Rapunzel and her tower. Meganium and Kalos became this way after long years spent behind castle walls, being trusted companions of the princesses of the region. Next we have Lumiosian Embor, a fire poison type by V-Create Art. This form is also very much based on royalty, but real-life French royalty like King Louis. Its poison typing and personality reflecting how toxic and greedy the French monarchy was to the people of France. Also, pig stomachs are especially acidic, which Lumiosian Embor channels by releasing toxic fumes alongside its flames. Last up is Colossian Feraligatr, a water dragon type by Poketor. This form is based on the stories of sewer crocodiles found in Paris, such as Eleanor, as well as the Vouivre or Guivre, a serpentine and draconic mythological creature from medieval France. They are amphibious and capable of flight. The Vouivre are known as female creatures with beautiful blue or green scales, being depicted as greedy cave dwellers, like most European dragons. The combining of the cave-dwelling nature of this creature with the sewer-dwelling gators works incredibly well. Rather than for flight, Colossian Feraligatr uses its wings to glide through the waters of Kalos, using the glowing gem on its nose to guide itself through dark places. And get yourself out of a dark place with the heroes from today's sponsor, Marvel Strike Force. You can use my link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to download the game for free now and unlock free characters. Marvel Strike Force is a free mobile squad RPG that allows you to create and battle with teams full of your favorite superheroes and supervillains in fights against universe-ending threats like Doctor Doom and Apocalypse. There are plenty of new ways to battle with your squad that are released regularly, and the meta of this game is constantly evolving. Along with campaigns, Blitz, and Arena, there is also Alliance War, a massive weekly alliance battle where players can join forces with friends or other players to earn rewards. And the free characters just don't stop with free giveaways. The brand new highly anticipated Vigilante team is coming this month, which includes a new version of Daredevil accompanied by Punisher, Silver Sable, Hitmonkey, and Elektra. You can also unlock Professor Xavier with the two powerful mutants Nightcrawler and Cyclops right now for free by redeeming code 7. So once again, click my link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to download Marvel Strike Force right now for free. Thank you so much to Marvel Strike Force for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to it. Last year, right before Legends ZA was announced, I made a video on what if regions before Alola got regional forms. And in that video, I made Colossian Staryu, a pure fire type. It evolves into Colossian Starmie using a Firestone, and I worked with Fakemon to create them. They are both based on a French mythological creature called a Stella, which is basically a starfish that is as hot as an actual star. These Pokemon are also based on actual stars, with Staryu being a red dwarf and Starmie being a red giant. It's said that these two have a star burning within the gem in their cores. And the only thing hotter than these two Pokemon would be you after hitting those like and subscribe buttons. So why don't you go ahead and do that right now, hot stuff? Another person who has been theorizing on possible Colossian forms is French Fakemon artist Culorior, who should know a thing or two about the region. So let's take a look at a few of their ideas before getting into some of the ideas I had. So first up, Culorior made these Colossian forms of Tinkatink, Tinkatuff, and Tinkaton that are now fighting Steel type and are all designated as the Metal Ball Pokemon. These three are inspired by the French sport of pétanque, a game in which you toss metal balls at a target, trying to get your balls the closest to the target in order to score the most points. They are also inspired by the character Obelix from the French comic series Asterix the Gaul, who was granted superhuman strength after falling into a magic potion as a baby, which fits very well given how baby-like Tinkatink is. Next from Culorior, we have a regional form for Sinistea, which is a ghost fighting type, and fans of the channel know that I am a sucker for a good Sinistea form. This Sinistea evolves into a new evolution called Cafépure, the coffee Pokemon. Obviously, these two are based on coffee, given France has hundreds of cafes within Paris alone, and Lumiose is no stranger to cafes either, so having a form like this makes complete sense for Legends ZA. Even if we did just get a green tea form for the Teal Mask DLC. But hey, two regional forms for the same Pokemon has been done before, so it isn't an outlandish idea. The fighting type comes from the caffeine in coffee, giving you that fighting spirit. Like literally though, it's a fighting spirit. Moving on, we have a regional form for Baltoy and new evolution Ivorine, which are both rock fire type. They are inspired by Paleolithic statues such as the Dame de Brassempoy and cave paintings like those found in Lascaux. Its fire typing comes from the early humans discovering and controlling fire. What I really enjoy about Ivorine is that it's reversible. Maybe it could even learn Topsy-Turvy. Last but not least from Culorior, we have this regional form for Golisopod that is Bug Steel, and is obviously based on medieval French armor, with the fancy feathers of knights' helmets reflecting the antennae of some insects such as moths. It's also based on woodlice, a different kind of isopod and relative to the giant kinds that a lowland Golisopod is based on. Switching from samurai isopod to knight isopod is just such a natural transition, and something I could 100% see happening in Legends ZA. Alright, the time has come for some of my predictions for these regional forms, all of which I worked with Fungusmon to create, so make sure to check out their link in the description along with the other artists featured in this video. Okay, so these might be some of the most stereotypical regional forms I've ever made, but honestly I think they are so fun and I hope you guys do too. Make sure to let me know what you think in the comments below. So first up, we have Colossian Tadbulb, the Tadpole Pokemon, a pure fire type, which evolves into Colossian Bellibolt, the Frog Pokemon, which is also a pure fire type. These two are based on the very infamous French dish, cuisse de grenouille, aka frog's legs. Some could say the Froakie line references this, but I wanted to make a reference that's more obvious, with Tadbulb having a little chef hat made of steam, and Bellibolt now having a little stomach oven. Bellibolt is definitely my least favorite design of Gen 9, which is saying something considering how much I dislike Flamigo. But anyway, the reason I don't like it is because I think it was so close to greatness, and with some slight design changes, it could have been so much better. Details such as the eyes of this Pokemon just seem so out of place in this design, and just distract away from the cuter parts of Bellibolt. So I changed them to look like oven knobs given its oven tummy. This entire design is also a reference to Queen Aquen from Final Fantasy IX, my absolute favorite entry in the franchise. Quina is a blue mage that learns different monsters' abilities by eating them, which I felt fit this design well, as these Pokemon are based on a way of cooking and eating the animal they're inspired by. One kind of regional variation that didn't exist in Legends Arceus are regional fakes like Toadschool and Sinistea, so I very much think that there would be some in Legends ZA. With that said, allow me to introduce Slugma, the Fondue Pokemon, and its evolution, Magcargo, the Raclette Pokemon, both of which are fairy fire types. Dang, there's lots of fire types in this video. It's gotta be because we're cooking with these designs, or something else that the youths say. Anyway, clearly these two are based on melted cheese, with cheese being a very prominent part of French culture. Slugma and Magcargo's categories are the Fondue and Raclette Pokemon, which come from Switzerland, France's direct neighbor. Fondue is a super well-known way of preparing cheeses, and though it is a Swiss dish, and though it is a Nintendo Switch 2 dish, and though it is a Swiss dish, the name itself is French, and French fondue is a common dish that uses French cheeses, such as Comte and Beaufort, in combination with Swiss cheeses like Gruyere and Emmental. Magcargo's shell is a wheel of cheese. The melted parts of its body coming out of the wheel is directly taken from raclette, a dish native to parts of Switzerland in which the cheese wheel is heated and scraped directly onto a plate. Slugma and Magcargo's gooey bodies leave behind delicious traces which wild Pokemon will find and consume, after some time has passed, as fresh off their body is too hot to handle for most non-fire type Pokemon. You know what goes incredible with cheese? Wine. Though Pokemon would never directly reference alcohol, I think a slight nod to it can be possible. So allow me to introduce Smoliv, Daluv, and Arboluva. Anyone who played Pokemon Violet should know where their names come from. They are all grass steel type and are categorized as the grape Pokemon. Smoliv and Daluv are based on red grapes, and rather than creating a bitter and astringent oil with the fruit on its head like the Smoliv line, they create a smooth-tasting fermented form of juice. Juice, guys. It's juice, not anything else. Anyway, Daluv and Arboluva gain the additional inspiration of the Epimelides, which are nymphs of fruit trees, though they are specifically based on the Hesperides, which protected the garden of the golden apples. Though these golden apples were thought to actually be oranges that ancient Grecians didn't know how to identify. And there is such thing as orange wine, though it isn't made from oranges. Here is a very helpful infographic that tells us that orange wine comes from the juice and skins of white grapes, the same as how red wine is made with red grapes. There are also the golden Muscat grapes. With these Pokemon being wine and Greek inspired, those things work together to reference Bacchus, the Greek god of wine and agriculture. And do you want to guess who gave King Midas his infamous ability to turn everything he touches into gold? Yep, it's Bacchus. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. I wanted to flip the color story of these evolutions too, with Smoliv having the darkest coloration and fruit, and Arboluva having the lightest, an inverse of the original. I also wanted to point out that Fungus made Daluv's grapes into a side pony, while also looking like the beginning of a grape bunch, that then turns into the bunch of grapes on Arboluva's chest, and that is just so genius. The last design of the video is actually a regional evolution. You know what really goes well with cheese and wine? Bread. So, Fidough is a highly malleable design, pun intended, with it being based on dough. which can be shaped into many different kinds of bread. And as we all know, France is very well known for crush and loaf. So let's get this bread by leveling up Fidough to 26 while in or around a cafe, evolving it into Braquette, the pointer Pokemon, a fairy rock type. The formula of bread plus dog never fails to disappoint, with Braquette being inspired by the Broc Francais, otherwise known as the French pointer, which is where one half of its name comes from. The other half comes from oui oui baguette. You can see its legs are inspired by the crust of the baguette, with its ears and neck being inspired by yet another grandiose gluten from France, the croissant. The hard crust of the baguette is where it gets its typing from, reflecting the hardened crust of the earth, and the buttery layers of the croissant are like the layers of the earth's crust, or of an ogre. Braquette use their incredible sense of smell to detect gemstones hidden nearby. This Pokemon has been used to discover and dig up rare materials in the Glittering Cave. Let me know what regional forms and evolutions you think we could get in Legend ZA. A huge thank you to our incredible members whose names you can see now for supporting the channel with their hard-earned money, which you can also do by hitting that join button now. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.